Welcome to Revitalize and Replant with Mark Clifton, where we equip pastors to take their churches from declining to thriving by pointing them to a new future and a new hope. Join us weekly for encouragement and practical advice in your pastoring journey.
Hey, Mark Hallock.
Hey, Mr. Mark Clifton.
It's good to have you. This show is called 2 Marks, not 9 Marks. No, we're actually revitalize and replant.
Yep.
And please hit that subscribe button.
Please do.
In fact, we're going to sit here and not say anything until you hit that subscribe button.
We can tell.
Okay, you hit it. All right, now we're good. We are at Warnell Road Baptist Church, right?
Warnell Road, Kansas City.
Kansas City. You could say kind of the mother church of the modern replant movement.
And I'll say this, you're a humble man, but listen, if you didn't listen to the last episode, Mr. Mark Clifton shared just wisdom of some of the mistakes that were made, but there's no doubt by the Lord used you to help revitalize this church. The other thing I want to say real quick is I want to plug your book. If you've never read Reclaiming Glory by Mark Clifton, you need to read it. And maybe grab a few other leaders in your church and read it. There's so much wisdom there. But a lot of it comes out of what God did in this church.
Yep.
Warnell Road Baptist Church.
And we're so grateful today. Pastor Philip and his associate, Pastor Quinn, do such a great job here. This church now is a solid 200 folks who love Jesus and raise up leaders and disciple people and minister to its community. And this church was literally at the point of closure, about 18 remaining members and no money 20 years ago. And so God can do amazing things in places like this. And if you're ever here in town in Kansas City, man, worship here. You won't regret it. The music, the singing is wonderful. The preaching is wonderful. The ministry is wonderful. And it's just been a blessing. It basically doubled in size since I left. And so that's
an encouragement.
That's my church growth plan. If I leave, it grows. So that's good.
Okay, so here's where we want to go today. You mentioned when you came here...
By the way, those of you who are watching on Facebook...
That's right.
Those of you who are listening under normal podcast circumstances, thank you so much. We're about 205 shows now.
Yep.
I mean, maybe 10,000 downloads a month or something. We're so grateful for all of you. But if you want to see what Mark and I look like...
Which isn't pretty.
And I have no idea why you'd want to do that. You can go to my Facebook page or... Church Replanter's Facebook page, and we're actually videoing a couple of these, 8 or 9 of these podcasts, so you can see Warnell Road, basically.
That's right.
You can see the church. And Mark and I have been here for 2 days doing these podcasts and enjoying having time with the pastors here and getting to know Warnell. But we're doing all these podcasts in one day.
Yeah.
And so if you're watching this, you realize we keep changing clothes. And so we have changed clothes we brought suitcases.
Several times.
So we want to fool you into thinking these took place over.
And then the irony of it is every single episode you've reminded them that we are changing our clothes.
It's kind of fun.
It's kind of fun.
I am suited up today. I got my tie
dude,
on.
You look so good.
And my tie and my Stetson.
Unbelievable.
So if you can't see this on podcast, just imagine me in a tie and a Stetson. And
they're missing out. They need to come.
I carry a tie with me everywhere I go.
You know what? I love your phrase. Like you never. What did you say?
I never know when you got to suit up.
When you got to suit up, baby.
I'll be traveling someplace to preach, and I walk in and I see everybody's in a tie. I go out in my truck and I put on.
It's really smart.
That's right. And if it's a country music church, I've got to put on my bolo. I do that.
You got your bolo?
I got a bolo.
I bet you do.
I do.
I don't have a bolo.
And I got a rosary.
I need to get a.
No, I don't have a rosary. I'm sorry.
This guy's very contextual.
We're in deep trouble.
Okay. So here,
I'm so sorry.
I'm going to transition. Here we go.
Okay.
You mentioned when you came here, 18 people. Now, as I've walked around this church and hung out here for 2 days, this is a huge building.
Sure it is.
And so here's the thing. There are a lot of folks and pastors who are replanting who find themselves with a very small congregation in a really big or just really in any size building where they're going, we don't fit in this building. I mean, like even this sanctuary, how many does this hold?
610, which is not, it's not mega big.
But that's really big.
But 610 when you have 20 people or 18. Yeah.
So I guess I want to just pick your brain and let you share some thoughts on what do you do when your congregation is way smaller than the size of your building? Because it can bring some unique challenges.
Oh, yeah. It's a little bit like, let's say a guy used to weigh 400 pounds and he loses, 300 pounds or 250 pounds, right? So he was 400 pounds. Yep. He loses 250 pounds. So now he's 150, but he wears the same clothes. He looks pretty silly, right?
Right.
Everybody looks and goes, what's wrong with you? Yeah. But if you've got a new wardrobe, they would go, well, you're pretty normal size.
Yeah.
I believe this with all of my heart, guys. The normal size church in Southern Baptist life is really under 200. We've talked about that many times. Well over 90%. And really well over half of our churches are under 50, okay? And there's nothing, this church is 200 now in attendance. It's not 800 or 600,
Right.
it's 200. It's been here 20 years in a replant, it's 200. Now, here's the thing about if your church runs 200 consistently, especially in an urban setting, you're reaching hundreds of new people every 4 or 5 years.
Yes, exactly.
Because churches, populations churn.
In and out.
They
people.
come in and out. You know, I picked up the church directory here at Warnell. I left in 2014, so this is 2025. They have 165 members, plus, children of members and attenders and that kind of thing. They have a really high bar of membership here, so 165 members. But when I looked at their church directory, there were 10 that were here when I was here.
Wow.
10.
Is that right?
10. Now, that doesn't mean, a lot of the original ones passed away.
Yeah.
But the others, I know where they went. They moved physically from this place.
Yeah.
Young families don't often come into a community anymore, buy a house, and stay there for 40 years, right?
Right.
So, especially in an urban setting, communities are always churning. So if you've got a church of 50 or 75 consistently over a number of years, you're reaching new people all the time.
Yep.
So my point in all that is, if you've got 50 or 75 or 100 people, you can do some amazing ministry. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but there's all the fire trucks.
Some action out there.
Going, yeah, it's
I think it's gone.
It's gone?
Yeah.
All right. I was going to go see what happened out there. Might be more exciting than what's happening in here. But if you have a church of 50 or 75 or 80, even in a metropolitan area, or 100, you can do some amazing ministry.
Yeah.
You can impact people's lives. We know that. But the problem is, many churches built buildings at the peak of their attendance, maybe 30, 40, like this church 90 years ago.
Right.
And they never really filled it up after that. And since then, it's just been in decline. We have many churches, particularly in county seat towns and metropolitan areas, that seat 400 or 500 and the congregation's 100. Now, if that congregation were in a building made for 150, it would feel okay.
Yeah, right.
But if you have a church that seats 500 and you have 100 there, then every Sunday morning it looks like 400 people didn't show up.
Yeah.
Now, I have heard you say that when you see empty pews, it breaks your heart because empty pews are there for people to sit in, and I get that.
Yeah.
But when I came here to Warnell, I began to realize after 3 or 4 years, this was never going to be the regional church it once was. Okay? When it was started, it was a regional church because this was on the edge of the city. Now it's in the heart of the city, and there's no highways by here, and it's not going to be a region. There are other regional churches.
Yes,
it's going to be a neighborhood church.
Yep.
We have 70 or 80 parking spots.
Yep.
If you have 70 or 80 parking spots, you're probably not going to reach more than a max of a couple of hundred people, maybe, whatever.
Yep.
So what we did, so we had to. So my point in all this is, I'm not telling you to give up and not try to grow your church, but I'm saying be realistic and say we've got a church that at one point we were 500 people for a couple of 3 years, and then in the last 30 years we've declined. Now we're down to 75 or 80, and it just feels so empty. What do I do with that building? So I'm going to give you 3 things.
Okay.
First of all, reconfigure your worship center to be appropriately sized for pretty much the congregation you have now.
Okay.
Now, here at Warnell, we kept the pews for reasons that don't bear going into at this juncture. Basically, the people wanted to keep them because they were original with the architecture, and everybody who moves into Brooktide, they love architecture. So what we did, we took a bunch of the pews out, a bunch of them at the back, a bunch of them at the front, and nearly every other pew, so every pew was a bulkhead now. We had plenty of space. We also cut the pews down. We cut 3 foot off each pew. So we changed the seating capacity from 600 to 300 just by removing some pews. And if you look at it now, it doesn't look like we did that.
Right.
It doesn't look empty.
No, you can't tell.
But we did. And so now if you have 150 people and a sanctuary it seats 300, or now like they do now, 200 people, it looks really comfortably full. So if you've got chairs, work that out. If you want to use even some pipe and drape, if you want to create at the back of your sanctuary sort of a gathering space with coffee and things, so find ways to be creative to make your worship center seem more inviting. Because if you walk into a worship center and there's 70 people there in a worship center that seats 500, and the 70, trust me, they're going to be spread out across that building. When new people come in, it looks cold, it looks vacant. And it even looks like those 70 people don't even like each other because they're not even sitting together. All right? So reconfigure your worship space.
Yep, that's
it's
number one.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
If you need help, email us at replant@nam.net, and we'll hook you up with your state convention or other people to help you figure out how to do that.
Some ideas. Okay, that's number one. Number two.
Share your building with the community.
Share your building with the community.
Find ways to use we talked about this in the previous podcast. If you've got talk to your director of missions. Are there some church plants? Are there some language churches that need space? Yep. We've got plenty of space. If you've got a 2 or 3 story education building, find some way, as we did here at Warnell, to take some of that education space and make it a large area so you can actually have a chapel up there.
Yeah.
So you can actually have a church meeting while you meet. So find ways and use your building perhaps as an incubator for church plants.
I mean, at one point in this church, in this the history of this church, didn't you say you had 4 different or 5 different churches
we had
meeting?
We had our congregation and 3 other congregations meeting here
incredible.
Simultaneously on Sunday morning.
Using the space. Just the parking lot's
Parking
full.
was tough, but we managed.
But there's life. That's the thing. And there's Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I love that.
So share it with other churches.
Okay.
The other is share your building with appropriate nonprofits.
Yeah.
So what we did when I was at Warnell, the monthly, back in 2006, the monthly insurance and utilities was $3,000 a month, and that was 20 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
But this place is a booger to heat and cool.
Oh yeah, it's massive.
And so what we did is we took the top floor and we leased it to what is now the Missouri Baptist Children's Home as one of their centers for really adoption and foster care training and those kinds of things. So that really helped financially. It also put people in the building every day of the week and many different nights of the week as the Missouri Baptist Children's Home, they call it the Lighthouse, really a home for single moms to make sure they carry their pregnancies through, and if they choose not to, that there's an adoption process. So that gave us activity here in the building, right? So we used unused Sunday school space. Now just it wasn't vacant, it was incredibly important. In fact, some would say it was doing more ministry now than when it was used once a week for Sunday school years and years ago.
Wow.
So again, just go back and resize your worship center. Make sure that you let other congregations, if you can find them and if it works, let them share your building, become an incubator for those churches. Let appropriate nonprofits share your building. And then fourthly, find ways to use your building as a blessing to the community. Every community needs a safe space. It needs a sacred space. So we had a nice kitchen in our building here at Warnell, and we had a nice fellowship hall that has a kind of ground level entrance. We're very near a little business shopping district here. And we found out that the Brookside Business District had a monthly luncheon. And so we said, hey, how about having your monthly luncheon here in our church building? And they said, how much? And we said, nothing.
Wow.
Use it for free.
That's
and
cool.
so we had a monthly luncheon here. They would provide the food and everything, but they just used our building,
Use the building
for that. Same thing for the high school down the street. We brought in the kids every Friday night before the football game and fed them. We also let them use our building on Saturday mornings. Believe it or not, the high school football team used our buildings to have breakfast and show film, because for the coach it was 100 times easier just to use our building than to try to arrange to get the school open, have custodians there.
Is that
all
right?
Of that. Yeah.
Wow.
So for the team used our building and our
cool.
people provided breakfast for them.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then one of our interns here at Warnell eventually went up to Wisconsin to do a replant. When he got there was a large building with no children, and so you've heard me tell this story before, but he realized there was a need for especially single moms and single dads to help with their laundry, because they'd have to take their kids to a laundromat. And so they took some of those Sunday school rooms and put washers and dryers in them, and then they let the community know on Saturday mornings and Thursday nights, you can come do your laundry in our church for free, and we will watch your kids with background check child care workers. And when you watch your kids, we'll teach them Sunday school.
Wow.
So you had Sunday school for kids on Saturday mornings and Thursday nights while parents came and did their laundry. That's how you leverage your building as a blessing to the community.
So
if you keep your building locked up and you don't let the community share it, and it's a huge, humongous building, that's a problem. Your building is an asset, and you've got to be, for example, I found out that we had a retired band teacher here in our neighborhood, and so reached out to him. This is so cool. In the summer months, he was willing to leave band classes for kids so that they would stay fresh during the summer, and so we let him use our building.
Use the building, yeah.
And then also we found out there was a group that needed a place to have life skills training for mentally challenged adults.
Okay.
And so they had like a summer day camp for mentally challenged adults.
Wow.
So we let them use our building and our kitchen to teach life. When I was here, this building was used constantly. And what was an albatross around our neck, a building that was way too big, it is safe to say every closet was used. Now, the church itself, we didn't much reach over 100 in worship. But the building was used. Now,
well, and the impact that's having on the community, your reputation in the community.
And remember, the glory of God's at stake.
Amen. That's
now
right.
The glory of God's. I remember one day, I went and met every pastor in the community, including the Catholic priest, and told them who we were and who I was, and learned from them about the community. And one day, this lady came to my office, and she said, "Hey, I work for the census." This was 2009 or so. She said, "We're going to have the census in 2010. I need a place to train 100 census workers for a week." She said, "Can we use your building?" And I said, "Absolutely, you can use our building." She said, "How much it will it cost?" I said, "It won't cost anything. We just want to make it available." She said, "That's great." She said, "I asked my Catholic priest if we could use their building, and she said that we couldn't. But the priest told me to go down and ask the Baptist church because they let everybody use that building." I think that's what you want to know.
Amen. That's so good. Yeah.
So I would say if your building's, it's not too big.
Yeah.
It's just too big for what you're using it for.
That's right.
So resize the sanctuary, use it as an incubator for church plants, let nonprofits utilize it if it works out that way. Find other ways to bless the community with the use of this building. Wake up every day and say, how can our neighborhood, our city be noticeably better because we're letting this building be a blessing to the community.
Amen.
All right?
Man, I love it.
Good enough. Thank you for listening.
Subscribe.
Now, Mark has just the opposite problem, though. Your building's too small.
Yes.
And that's another story.
That's another
story for another day. You're like the guy who used to weigh 150 and now he weighs 450, and he still wears the same clothes.
That's exactly
Looks
right.
pretty silly
That's
too.
exactly silly too.
We got to get everybody in the right size clothes.
Yeah. That's great.
But thank you, Mark.
Thank you, brother.
Love being with you.
Love you.
Hey,
this has been fun.
This has been great being here live and seeing these in person. And hey, check us out online at churchreplanters.com.
Thanks for joining us today on Revitalize and Replant. This podcast is brought to you by the North American Mission Board, where we help dying or struggling churches regain health for the glory of God and the good of their communities. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. To learn more about becoming a replanting pastor or to explore resources about revitalization for your own church, visit churchreplanters.com.